This is episode 4. Just sorry, I'm just going to clear up my phlegm right next to the microphone.
Nice. Make sure you spit right next to it as well, yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Sorry, PC gamers. There you go. What's happening, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the True Gamer Podcast, the podcast hosted by two of your gamers for you, the True Gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going good. How's it going?
It's going good. It was yesterday actually, we got the news that the lockdown has been increased in the UK, so more content for us.
Yep.
I'm choosing to look at it from the bright side right there.
Sure.
How did you feel when you heard that first?
It's, I hope it works, because the worst thing would be to be in a lockdown for that much extra time, and then we all come out and it didn't have any effect. We just wasted 6 weeks of our lives.
Dude, I mean, the way other countries have been, there's obviously idiots in every country, and you see things pop up on Twitter and Reddit and things like that. But the UK, I swear it seems to be more abundant, where we have more idiots than anyone else.
Yeah, they
where
really are.
You just see people like, oh, we're just partying on the street with all of our friends and going
I saw
to
that
so-and-so
London
place.
Bridge tweet.
The London Bridge one.
It was so dumb. But then you look at other countries, like, look, forget China, because one, I don't believe their data for a second, and two, they're literally a dictatorship. Like, you're talking about a country that actually has concentration camps, right? But Australia, they're pretty comparable, right?
Yeah.
Like, look at how they're handling things. So, I don't think
they're
we're
already
doing
on the
things great.
downswing, aren't they?
Yeah. So I don't know what we're doing wrong, but I don't know if we're doing the right thing anyway. I just hope it works and we can get back to our usual normal content.
I hope so too. I want to be right next to you. I want to give you shit in person rather than over the internet. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about today's show. Today's topics will include Cyberpunk 2077's DLC plans, the Xbox Lockhart Rumours have surfaced, Crysis Remastered coming to consoles soon, even the Nintendo Switch, strangely, Ghost of Tsushima, and the topic of the show, PlayStation's launch plans for the PS5 after COVID-19, according to anonymous inside sources. All right, all of that and lots more.
But before that, this podcast is brought to you, as is all of our content on YouTube as well, by our amazing super bros over on patreon.com/Conbrosations. Who do we have to thank?
Yes, it is. We have Saki, the one and only, Comrade Conrad, Diogo Dildo, Record Friction, Catsper the friendly patron, and Dan the man. Thank you, bros, so much for your continued support through this terrible time and keeping the lights, the mics on, and the gaming going here at Conbrosations.
Yes, indeed.
We've got a lot of stuff coming up today. For those of you guys that are new around here, this is the True Gamer Podcast. We talk all about gaming. You guys can find us on podcast services around the world. You can find us at youtube.com/Conbrosations. You can find us basically anywhere, even our OnlyFans. You guys should check that out. It's really popular right now. It's really taking off. We had a nice little voice chat with the guys on the Discord server.
We did.
Link in the description to the Discord server. And it was everyone was very excited about the OnlyFans content. That was
talking about the Discord. Just before we get into all of our topics, the Discord really genuinely one of the best places that I spend my time on the internet.
Oh yeah.
Not just because it's mine, it's ours, but like really, I always find myself on Discord. If you are on Discord and you I think you should check it out. It's also really chill. We talk about gaming and entertainment and all that stuff, but it's also chill.
Yeah, everyone just comes up there. I love how it's a free place where everyone can just go, hey, I'm playing so-and-so, or I'm watching this, I'm doing this in my spare time, I'm going to the gym, and it's like, oh, dude, that's fucking cool. Tell me more about that. I even love the show and tell channel that we have where people are just showing off artwork they're doing in their spare time.
I'm really glad I made that room.
Yep.
That's a really cool one. We got some really, really talented subscribers and guys that follow our content and stuff. And I think we've done, since the Discord's been up, we've done a lot of work to like streamline it, make sure the rooms are like separated properly so everybody knows where they're going. It's easy to navigate. It's genuinely a great place to be. And it's really good fun. And we do some stuff there. We've been jumping on the voice chat there sometimes, and Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun.
It's really good fun. You guys should check it out. Link in the description there. As well as our super bros who support us, our kind supporters right there, we also have another tier called the True Gamers, the ones that support us at the $5 tier over at patreon.com/Conbrosations. Those true gamers are Record Friction, Saki, Conrad, Diogo, Catsbar, Max H, Dan, Alex, Adam Sunling, Furious Coco, Fishy, and Benedict Parker Returns. Thank you, true gamers, for making this podcast
You guys are epic. What's our first topic? Let's do it.
Our first topic. This is where shit starts to get interesting. I'm going to start off with the big one. I'm going to start off with the PlayStation Inside Sources.
Before we do the PlayStation Inside Sources, I know we covered this on our channel, but some people probably listen to the podcast and maybe don't catch every video on YouTube.
Fair point. Go ahead, yes.
I rub some salt in Xbox's wounds?
Go ahead. I'm always down for rubbing a little bit of salt in someone's wound when they deserve it.
About a week ago, PlayStation, they released their new controller.
Yes, they did. The Dualsense Controller.
Yeah, basically the DualShock 5.
Yes.
They just changed the name and a couple of things. And a lot of people had a lot of things to say. Personally, and I said this on the video, I loved it straight away. I just loved the look of it. It's very like Mass Effect feel to it. It looks, people saying, comparing it to the Xbox One. I then saw that the Xbox also released their controller.
Yeah, it was a strange thing because the controller was already known. Like, they already showed it, but they didn't make a big stink about it because it basically didn't change.
Yeah.
But then, right after Sony made their DualSense controller announcement reveal for the first time, they released, like, another second reveal of their controller? And how did that go?
It went poorly. I have the tweets up here. The for context, the PlayStation official thing, it's a photo of the white and black dual color scheme with the blue things, which I think looks great. 320,000 likes, 90,000 retweets.
That's quite sizable. I've had close to that number myself before.
Me too. Yeah. So they're doing quite well there. Xbox, and I've said this before, run by suits. I think didn't we do a pizza bet about people like messing stuff up? And I said I will take that bet all day long because these companies are run by suits. They go, oh, we aren't winning the PR battle. Sony just released something. I guess we'll keep pace, and but maybe we'll wait a day and we'll make it better. So they released a GIF showing off their controller. 6,000 retweets, 45,000 likes.
Oh,
and it's a day later. Like, it's just, oh, man, how what are you doing, Xbox? Like, they can't get anything right. And the thing is, I bet the product's fine.
I bet the product is great. I bet they're going to do the thing that they did with Digital Foundry, where they took them in and they made them sort of assemble it. I saw a bunch of videos of other YouTubers as well assembling like a mock version of the console, putting it in its casing, and I was like, that's cool and interesting. I'd watch that and whatnot. And then you think, okay, maybe Xbox they've got a handle on this shit. They've got a handle on it, and then they go, PlayStation we do the same. We do too.
They just basically copied it, and they waited a day. They missed all the attention. It's just terrible. And I want to say, just quick observation, this looks kind of PlayStation-y in comparison to the Xbox controller that I'm used to.
How so?
Well, so like the previous PlayStation, the nubs, you know, where your hands go, they're thinner, right? This one's been beefed up for the DualSense 5.
Yes.
Yeah. And the Xbox One feels to me, and I don't have an Xbox One, I'm talking about the Xbox Series X here, it feels like they got slimmer or fatter even. Like, it feels like they're both trending towards the same thing in like 4 generations.
Meet in the middle.
4 generations of consoles later, we'll just have one grey controller, you know?
It'll just be made by another manufacturer. This is the controller.
Yeah, I just wanted to rub salt in the wound there for Xbox because they just are not getting the PR. You know, they cannot get it right.
I'll tell you what's funny about that GIF is that the GIF was clearly to show off the new controller, but the thing is the controller's pretty much exactly the same. It's identical. Only thing that's different is the button in the middle, the share button they've made. Yep. So if basically the GIF focuses in on the share button. I was like, there you go. Yep. That's the new thing thing they've got to contribute.
The only thing it does good though is it's got the colours and the letters.
That's true. That's what you need in those buttons over there, the colors. I tell you something that PlayStation did, seeing as we're on the topic of the DualSense controller. The PlayStation accidentally just stumbled upon a gold mine, because we spoke about it as well, the new designs that the community and everyone, all the fans came up with and whatnot.
Yep.
But they made this controller, they put it out, and literally within a day, 2 days, people came up with maybe 500 different variations that are all 100% solid designs for the PlayStation 5 controller.
Yep.
If they don't put even a single one of it, if they don't do anything with this now, then that is a huge opportunity that they've missed. They really need to capitalize on this, and the community's done it all for them. Anyway, let's get over to this Bloomberg report, guys. This is a Bloomberg report done by some actual investigative journalism with some inside sources regarding the PlayStation 5 and how it's going to be affected by COVID-19. So, a couple of points in. We're going to go point by point through this article right here, and you're going to tell me what you think, and we can discuss a little bit about it. Sony have apparently only put in an order of 5 to 6 million PlayStation 5s at launch between the first fiscal year, which ends in March 2021. To put that into comparison, in perspective for you, because nobody fucking understands what that means. For the PlayStation 4, they actually sold 7.5 million PS4s in that same time frame. So this is an order that is less than that one. How do you feel about that?
I think it depends when the order was placed. Do you know what I mean? If it was placed 2 weeks ago and they're like, big economic crash, probably not a lot of people are going to be buying consoles. Cool. Planning ahead. All right, fair enough. You don't want to overextend your company. If it was placed 5 months ago, then it just makes me worry about the price of these units, man.
That's what makes me think about it. So when I first saw it, I thought, okay, so this is, coming out of a crisis like this pandemic that we've been through. Everyone's going to be a bit short on money and stuff like that. But really what that says to me is that maybe the price is going to be a little bit high, which is going to be the next point that we talk about. So maybe they're anticipating that maybe not everyone's going to go out and buy it, at least within the first fiscal year. So let's make a smaller order and whatnot. It is interesting to see that, though, because we actually have the sold numbers of the PS4 in that same time frame versus what they've ordered, which I'm guessing is what they're projecting, what they're imagining is going to be the amount they sell.
Like I said, I guess it depends how long ago that decision was made, And I feel like it was a while ago,
Well, I mean, even if they were to make it a while ago, it's not like they have to stay silent or they have to lock in on that. They could just go, okay, we're revising our number and tell the manufacturers,
Yeah.
But then again, this anonymous source should have the most up-to-date numbers because they're currently still working there. That's what they're saying anyway. So let's assume that's what's going on. The price, the expected price. So it's apparently going to be at or above $500, which is kind of what we were saying in our videos, right? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I would like to see it somewhere in the 4s.
Yeah.
But for the hardware that we're getting and stuff, it doesn't surprise me. I'm not shocked to find out that this thing could be, 549 or something like that. I just, a little bit of me got my hopes up that it would be like 449, 399. Like 399, I was never expecting that, but 449, I don't know, feels, yeah.
I was in that same boat. I said it very vocally on the videos and whatnot. I was like, 449 would be the perfect number right there. It might be hard to achieve and you might need to take a bit of a loss up front. You may need to do some deals and some working around and whatnot. Obviously, Sony know their numbers better than anyone else. I thought that maybe that was possible, but maybe with all of the pressure of sourcing parts and parts being expensive and this console being expensive, and as well as COVID-19 taking all of the money from the market and whatnot,
for sure,
maybe they just can't afford to do it. And I feel like if it goes above 500, if they go to 550, it's kind of suicide. It's kind of suicide.
I probably would get it, maybe. I might find myself waiting a fair bit, though, especially, and I think this was a terrible decision from a new generation launching perspective, because most of the first wave of titles will be playable on the previous generations. I'm probably waiting.
Yeah.
You know?
There is one thing that's apparently contributing to the cost, and this is probably the main thing about the PlayStation 5 that everybody's most excited for, and all the developers are saying is going to make the console so amazing, which is the hard drive, the disc, the SSD they've put in there, the super fancy SSD. Apparently that's dragging up the cost a lot. So the previous hard drive they put in, the PS4 bog standard spinning disc hard drive, was around about $100, just over, or something like that. The cost of manufacturing of this new hard drive is apparently close to $250.
That
so
doesn't
more
surprise
than double. Me. Yeah, so that's probably driving up the cost a lot. Do you, after hearing this kind of stuff, do you think maybe they shouldn't have gone with this kind of stuff? Do you think anything like that?
I think it's a great move from a future-proofing perspective, assuming it works the way they do, and I think it will. It's a great move. I think for day one buyers, it's going to suck. Does that make sense? And it doesn't surprise me at all that this is going to be much more expensive with fancy brand new proprietary SSDs, you know?
Yeah, I think it's just like what you said. It's you can't make a console that's dated as soon as it comes out. You have to kind of think ahead and whatnot, or at least be really up with the times. And I think this is just one of those things where it has to be expensive. The cost of it's going to be higher, just so you can get one of these cool pieces of machinery out to your fans. And just go with it. You have to just go with it. And in like 3 years' time, it'll be cheaper, and you can make the cost back then, maybe, or something like that. God, that's gonna be. It's really shitty to think about the next gen consoles like this. It's like, there's so many hurdles and there's so many things that could make them really expensive. And we're just here as fans. We're like, fuck, man, I just want to get this thing in my hands. I want to play it. I want to. Yeah. Oh man, it's so terrible. The next thing. Apparently, the launch date won't be changing. Apparently, Sony are very, very confident. Apparently, they've got all the parts they need, and they've spoken to their manufacturers and their assemblies. They've said to them, guys, can we make this date? And apparently they can. Apparently, that it's still going to be on time for 2020, holiday 2020 this year. Okay. How do you feel about that?
That's cool.
That's cool, but do you believe it?
No. I don't believe it, and I also worry that around about that time we were supposed to be getting things like Cyberpunk and now I guess The Last of Us, and I don't know if they're coming out this year. I just don't think they will be.
See, I didn't know whether or not this was going to get bad enough that it could like really shift a lot of things. And then when we started to see Sony pull out, I was like, of like E3 and GDC and stuff like that, I was like, I don't know, maybe that's Sony being Sony. Maybe they just wanted to do their own thing and they're going to make their own shows along the way and whatnot. But then it started to come out that more people were pulling out of things, and more things were getting closed, and more things were getting delayed, and then we went into lockdown, and I was like, shit, this isn't actually just them being overcautious and whatnot. Now I believe that if they said to me tomorrow that this console was delayed, I would be like, yeah, I kind of saw it coming. Do you know when they say in this article, when they say the PlayStation 5 is still set to launch in 2020, holiday 2020? I kind of look at it as, you know, those girls that you meet in a club and they go, I'm a totally nice girl. It's like,
I'm not crazy at all.
But you said it in that crazy girl way.
Yeah.
You kind of said it in that crazy girl way. Should I believe you right there? Yeah. Apparently the manufacturing of the PS5 begins in June. Apparently that's when it begins. So, providing nothing else happens.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, April, May, June, we're not that far away. I don't know what the normal schedules are for these things, if they can get, like, June it begins, and how long it takes to box them up, to ship them to relevant countries and whatnot. But yeah, that's interesting. If it begins, that's great.
How many of the areas, like, it's all getting put together in China, right? Is China really off lockdown? Like, really? Is it really?
I think they would, just because they don't want people to believe that they still have COVID-19 cases, they'll just be like, yeah, the lockdown's lifted, everyone go out and be free, and everyone's just on the streets with like drizzly noses, horrible coughs and shit like that. They're like, That sounds like and you don't have COVID-19. You don't have coronavirus.
Right,
it's like, I don't have coronavirus. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to be wrong about these things.
This is a good thing to be wrong about.
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
Were ever to be wrong about.
I'd love to be wrong about the price. I'd love for it to come out at $349. I'll buy 2.
Yes.
You know.
Do you know what this means about the manufacturing of PS5 coming in June? We have to get a reveal of the console before then, because there will be pictures leaked all over the internet by the people on the assembly line who don't give a crap, who don't give a shit about anything, who don't get paid nowhere near enough. So we have to get this reveal soon. How do you feel about that?
That's good. I mean, I am curious to see what it looks like.
Yeah, and that's another question actually that I want to bring up just after this, what we think of the console will look like. Two other things just here. One, that apparently, according to this insider, the DualSense Controller reveal was kind of rushed. Apparently that they did have a whole planned event, a bit like the PS4 event, where they were going to show off the thing on a stage or something like that, in a private event with Sony executives and stuff like that, or people in the company anyway. And because of the coronavirus, they couldn't hold a public press conference like that, and they just cobbled together this PS blog post. Luckily, it kind of worked out for them, because everyone's talking about the damn controller and no one can stop talking about it.
Yeah, I think, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of what Sony's PR stuff going right, I don't think it was 100% them. I think they lucked into it, mainly because it's been so different, right? I don't think, ultimately it's run by suits, you know? Mm-hmm. But they're making some good decisions, a lot probably by accident. And also they're coming out first a lot of the time, and that's the big important thing.
That's another thing as well, because they've the whole plan apparently was them to be going after and being a reaction to whatever Microsoft was saying. So Microsoft came out with their console, and we were like, okay, so they have to go next. And then we heard the rumors that they weren't going to give the price of the PS5 until Xbox give their price. So this was very strange when they came out with the DualSense. And
it's only Sony that can do it, though.
True.
Microsoft can't go second because they can't make, as we saw with the controller, right? They cannot get the attention.
As we saw with proof right there.
Right, and with all these things, and with their E3, right? They just don't have the attention because they're readily available, right? The reason everybody's jumping on Sony information is because it's such a tight ship. It's so hard to find that stuff. So Sony can go first or second. No one really cares, right? Because what the Sony play... Let's say Microsoft went the day before them for their controller. You wait 3 weeks and then reveal your controller. You don't do it right next to it. You want the silence. You want that build up, because then everybody jumps on your stuff, right?
Yeah.
So they can do that. Xbox can't. I just I don't know. We're gonna need a reveal soon.
Dead soon. Do you want to put a little bet down? When do you think we're going to actually get this? I want to go within 2 weeks. I want you to give me a 2-week window where you think it's going to be popping up.
It's hard, man. I don't believe we're getting the consoles. I think we're getting the consoles.
We have one
mid-21
for never.
Yeah, I think we're getting the consoles mid-21. But let's say the timeline's right.
Yeah.
I say maybe the first week of June. I think they take the first one off the line and they show us it. That's what I think they're doing.
Damn.
Yeah, I think the video really starts with it coming off the track, and they take it off and plug it in and start playing. That's what I think they would do.
Wouldn't it be really funny if they did a video with say, I don't know, they get one of the Shuhei Yoshida, he's still working there, Shuhei Yoshida standing in front of the assembly line, and he just picks up the first one, and the assembly workers in the back, they're getting whipped because they're working for terrible money, and they're coughing into each one of the consoles and whatnot, while Shuhei Yoshida's look at this amazing, beautiful console.
Right.
And we're that thing's beautiful, but what the fuck, those people back there are dying. Someone get the Chinese government to... Oh, wait, they don't care. Okay. Yeah. That could be hilarious. I'm going to go lofty here. And I'm going to say it is imminent. I'm going to say it's happening very, very soon.
I'm going
to take the first 2 weeks of May.
Okay.
And I hope that we're right, because that would still mean we're in we're 17th right now. If it's in the first week, we're still going to be in the last week of the extended lockdown in the UK, and that's really when I want to do the content for it. So come on, PlayStation. Come on, PlayStation.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. I mean, I think it's possible for sure. You know?
It's possible, but I don't get me wrong. I'm definitely in that camp that was like, I could see them going, guys, we just can't make it. China's been lying and blah, blah, blah. All those jokes I've made already. We just can't get the consoles made. We're pushing it to 2021. I could see that happening
That's
well.
what I think is going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I think 2021,
you heard it, guys.
Man.
If it gets delayed, it's Shep's fault. It's Shep's fault.
Frick you. It's definitely Diogo's fault.
It's always Diogo's fault, right?
I think my neighbours are burning down their house. Hold on.
Oh, God.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. The last point. So, this was something that you brought up the second to last point. This was a point that you brought up a couple of times, and fucking hats off to you, because you really do think like a proper PR person, a proper businessman when it comes to this. PlayStation aims to increase its revenue through subscriptions as PS5 may be sold at a loss. Sony's chief executive officer, I'm going to butcher this, Kenchirino Yoshida, has said that the company will aim to increase reoccurring revenue rather than one-time hardware purchases. So, just like you said previously, if I can hats off again, they're might sell the PS5 at a loss just so they can keep the price low so it will get more customers in, and then recover all that money through subscriptions, microtransactions, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the big play, in my opinion, anyway.
It's the smart way of doing it, especially because, like you said, in fact, it was a very different landscape back in 2013 when we sold the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Where there wasn't all these Fortnites, there wasn't all these games that were like tons of reoccurring microtransactions and stuff like that Sony were taking a cut of. Now, if you look at their books, you're probably like, shit, they're making tons of money.
Yeah, so microtransactions are a way of life now. It's a guaranteed form of income. Guaranteed.
Yep, it is.
It's just the model that we use now. And so keeping a costing like analysis that doesn't include that's ridiculous. Mm. It just depends how expensive the hardware is, you know?
Yeah, I think they know. I think Sony know deep down that they can't go too high. I mean, they've tested and proved 349, 399 to be a very, very good price point, enough to be able to sell 100 million consoles.
Yeah.
So they can't stray too far from that. They must be smart enough to see, guys, we can't do that. I mean, if I spend this extra $100 on this console, what am I going to spend on my hookers? You know, what am I going to... Come on.
The other thing is,
about that.
They must have numbers on at what point price for components drops enough that same price means that they break even or make money on the consoles. Like if you buy a brand new PS4 today, they make money on the console.
Yeah.
Right? Because, or they make more, let's say, than at launch, because stuff's cheaper now, you know?
Yeah.
Like they must know that, like, oh, if we sell it at a loss at this price point, after 2 years, it'll be a break even. Okay, well, then what's our average, like, you know, expected earning from, you know, the average PlayStation 5 user and all that stuff? Like, I don't know, it's not as dire as people think to sell at a small loss.
It's just because it's just counterintuitive. It's just when you think about it, when you actually get out the calculator and you're like, okay, if you lose $10 on each console and you sell 100 million,
yeah, exactly.
You've got a billion.
Yeah.
I think that's 10 billion, isn't it? Well, how is that?
It's a lot of money.
Sorry, add one more zero. My apologies. That's $1 billion you've lost there. So it's counterintuitive, but over time that will turn into profit, like you said as well, and it will balance itself out. But yeah, there you go. All right, so and the one final last point that they brought up in this Bloomberg article, which you guys can click in the link in the description, I'll put it down there, is that the current belief is that the Xbox Series X will give significant competition to the PS5, especially in the US. That's it, one place they will give a lot of competition, which is to be expected. This is the US is like Microsoft's primary territory. They always go for like the US market, the Western audience, over everyone else. Like in China and the Asian markets, they're pretty much non-existent over there. Yeah. So yeah, that's something. With all of that being said, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the DualSense controller and also the console itself. Now you liked the look of the controller, right? You said
do, yeah.
on our video, which you can click as well, link in the description. What do you think the console will look like, and do you think it will be immediately like loved or photoshopped a bit like how the DualSense controller was? Because we can take a lot from the design language and the fashion of the controller and sort of adapt that to a console, right? It must look similar, kind of. Maybe.
Like for me, I could see it looking either like in my head, I think it looks either like that diamond version of the PS4 that we saw, that, or the dev kit. And I could see that controller fitting with either one of those, looking like futuristic-y, you know?
See,
I think it's one of them.
This is one thing that me and you differ on, actually, because once I saw the controller, I couldn't see the dev kit fitting in that style. And this is just probably because fashion is so fucking subjective, and everyone's got their own opinions and stuff like that. Like I think that any person in a blue suit with a red cape just looks gorgeous, and you think anyone dressed in a black dreary nonsense is
wearing they are the knight. Yeah, for sure.
That thing is what you think, right? Yeah. So that's something. But I was thinking about it the other day. I was looking at the DualShock 4 and I was like, okay, the DualShock 4, the original one anyway, it was just black and it was just simple. There was no defining features or anything about it. It was just, that's it. And that didn't, and then you look at the original PlayStation 4, and while they did have the one glossy panel on it, it was pretty featureless in my opinion, other than that like little light strip that annoyed the shit out of me. But we've got a controller now that looks like something, and it's been designed, and it actually looks like it's got some thought in it and some design features on it. So the console, you'd stand to reason, would be something similar to that, right?
No idea. I really don't know. I really don't know.
No.
And that's Sony's big thing here, right? Because we really don't know. It could go either way.
Yeah,
then the ball's in their court, you know. And we know what the Xbox looks like, and personally, I'm not super impressed. I don't think it looks bad, but I'm not like, oh my god, look at that thing. Whereas in comparison to the controllers, I am like that when it comes to the PS5 controller, and I don't care about the Series X controller.
Yeah.
You know,
it's very, very much. By the way, I just want to say this is definitely going to be cut out of the actual show. Don't worry about that. But you can't say you don't know when I'm asking for your opinion. People look to us as the authority on PlayStation.
You're right.
So
it's going to be exactly like you said. Confirmed. You heard it here first.
Exactly. There we go. I'm going to cut that bit in there.
Good.
Right, there we go. Cool. All right. Okay. That's the stuff right there. And I wanted to bring up one small point about the DualSense controller.
Yeah.
So you don't have a PSVR, but you've played with my one. I should clarify. That's an awful statement right there. You've played with my PlayStation VR headset.
Yes.
That's what you've played with.
Yeah.
No one clip that.
I've done that.
And the way that it tracks the controller as well as those wands and whatnot is using that light bar as well as like the gyroscopes and stuff inside.
Yeah.
The DualSense controller doesn't have that light bar on the back of it. They've said that the PSVR is going to be backwards compatible with the PlayStation 5 when it comes out. So how is it going to track the new controller?
I'm not a dev. You know, I would guess. In fact, let me pull up the
picture of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to find, that the map button. What's it? The actual name for it?
The touchpad.
Yeah, the touchpad. I wouldn't be surprised to find that blue bar runs across the back of it, and it's just a smaller emitter.
It doesn't. That's the thing. So I was looking at this thing, and this was obviously something that I looked at because I am a PlayStation VR user. I do love VR. I know a lot of the guys are probably going to be yelling at me in the chat because they really don't like VR.
VR's way better than a lot of people think. I think most people that don't like it either played racing games, but...
oh, boy. We should tell people about that because I don't think we ever said it. I have PlayStation VR. I bought a ton of games and whatnot. One of them was Drive Club VR. Very, very good looking game if you haven't played it, especially the Drive Club, the normal game and whatnot. And to play that game, I was like, I want to get fully immersed in this shit. I bought myself a driving seat that had like a Gran Turismo sort of racing bucket seat. Yeah. I bought the steering wheel. I bought the paddle with the paddles on it.
It's a really cool setup.
it's legit. When I do something and I really want to geek out about something, I go full on with it.
Yeah.
And I got in it and I immediately loved it. I was like, oh boy, this is cool, man. I get to be like, I'm in a car. I feel like I'm in a Bugatti Veyron right now. Yeah. This is so cool. And I was like, guys, come over to my house and let's play some PlayStation VR. And
so we did that. And I got in it and I felt like I was in a car. Except the only problem is, it doesn't feel like you're in a car. Like you turn a corner or you slow down and there's no like sensation. And it gave me the worst like seasickness. I was like taken out for like I didn't feel right until like halfway through the next day. It was so bad. It really messed with me, man. But other than that,
you did this straight up, you was like, at the first turn, I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I did like one or maybe two turns, and straight away I was like, nope. I just knew, you know. But like other than that, the VR actually is really fun. Beat Saber's so much fun. We played one that you got like a Batman game. That's really good. Like
when I got that Batman game, I was like, he is gonna love this one. I'm gonna make him play this.
The thing as well, like there's a point where you're standing on top of that like metal gargoyle thing. And I tried to look down and I really felt like I was going to fall off the edge of the thing. Yeah. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, okay, VR's, even, you know, PSVR, way further ahead than I like gave it credit for.
Yeah.
It just needs more widespread adoption and then for more devs to get into VR gaming. And I think it's really going to be something special.
I think so too. And just to answer your questions, guys that are shouting in the chat right now, I did think about pushing him when he looked over the edge there, but he was wearing my headset and I didn't want to destroy it. So,
exactly.
Yeah, and also he was pointing towards my desk. You know, my desk with my beautiful 4K screens. I don't want to get those destroyed right there. So let's not have that. Yeah. So did you have a look at that controller? What did you think and whatnot? Because it doesn't have that light at the back of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It doesn't. I don't know. Maybe there's some new tech in there. Or maybe it's just a new way or way that they didn't do it with the DualShock 4. I don't know. Yeah. I don't understand it. Then again, we are 7 or 8 years on tech-wise. I don't find it too unbelievable that this thing can work with both controllers.
Yeah, there must be something, right? I mean, the new PSVR 2, whenever it comes out, if it comes out, whatever happens, we don't know what kind of tracking system that's going to have. It's possible that it doesn't have a light-based tracking system like this one does. It's possible that it's got something completely revolutionary, which is great and which is fine. I hope it's much better than it is now. But that means that they're not going to be backwards compatible. They're not going to be cross compatible, if you know what I mean. So that's going to be interesting. Anyway, that's the PlayStation 5 details right there. How do you feel about all of that? How do you feel about the PlayStation 5 now?
Yeah, I think nothing I've seen makes me consider not getting it.
Yeah, you know, that's true.
And nothing I've seen makes me consider the Series X.
See, that's the thing. I saw something that someone said that really kind of impacted me, and I was thinking, I can't remember who said it exactly. I'm sorry, I can't give you credit, and you're not like you're watching anyway. But we're huge YouTubers, and we've got thousands of listeners every single day. Right. They said that with PlayStation, you're getting a console that you know is going to be fast and is going to be equipped to handle the tasks and is giving you gorgeous visuals, and it's backed by a ton of first-party studios and third-party studios that are going to be developing for it and giving you stunning, great games that you know from IPs that you actually know, like the God of War's, Last of Us, and all that. With Xbox, you're getting a great console that's going to give you great visuals. You're going to get third-party games, but it's going to be a bunch of untested new developers with new dev houses with new IPs that you've never played before, never seen before, because they've just purchased a bunch of things. And any sane person would really look at those and go, I think I'm gonna go with the PlayStation first. Yeah. Not to say that they might come out of the gate and smash it, and I hope they do, because that means great competition for the PlayStation. Yeah. But that's the reality of it. I tend to agree. Right. Yeah. All right. Shall we move on to the Xbox Series S rumors, the Lockhart rumors, not the XS. You see what they see?
How many different times have we had to talk about this Lockhart? It's not happening. They're confirming, like, they never said they were doing it. Then they're confirming that they're scrapping the project. Then actually there's rumors that they're not. Like,
I don't think Microsoft know what they're doing with this console.
I'm in this weird spot where, like, we make gaming content, right? And we're talking about the consoles and stuff, but I don't give a frick about the Xbox Series S or whatever. I don't care about the Lockhart. And to the point where I'm like, in 2 weeks they're just going to say that they've cancelled it or it's still rumours. And
yeah, I could see that happening genuinely. Like, it's strange. I wonder what it is they feel about this console as well, because they seem to dismiss it every time it comes up, but then we hear all of these rumors from various inside sources that say it is happening. And when, like, if someone comes out and says, "Oh, in your company, Sheps, with Eddie over here, you've apparently you guys are having naked bum sex. Is that true?" You look kind of like, "Oh, what? We just really good friends. That's what we are. That's what we say, right?" That's
yeah,
what
it depends what the official line is. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. We do have a conference.
Of course it's
we'd
true.
Get together.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we'd come up with an official response.
Exactly. Yeah.
But eventually, you'd fess up and we'd be like, "All right, guys, we just love each other that much, and we believe it strengthens our bond," and we do it. But these guys just seem to. Every month goes by, the years going by, and we're not getting any information at all.
The big problem is it's a stillborn console.
Yeah.
There's no reason to get it. If the Series... Wait, what am I thinking? If the
Series S.
No, if the Xbox One X...
The current console.
Yeah. Is more powerful than the Series S. God, fucking mouthful. Then then it's dead on delivery. There's no point. It just doesn't. It doesn't hit any market point anywhere.
Well, this is the rumor. This is the rumor that I was going to mention here. So let me lay it out for you. Apparently, the Series S is expected to be revealed sometime next month in May. Mm-hmm. It will be a low-end next-gen Xbox with the same architecture as the Xbox Series X, but will run most games at between 1080p and 1440p, not 4K. So the current, as you said, the current Xbox Series X can do, not Series X, Xbox One X.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Right, it's bad, isn't it?
It's bad naming. This is terrible, Microsoft. Xbox One X can run 4K and can run things quite well. And this console is going to be less powerful than their current flagship console. Apparently, it'll be $300 as well, which is cheaper than the console than the next flagship is gonna be.
But what's the One X gonna be when next gen comes out?
Very good point. You know? I could imagine that being around about that same price, something like that.
And the original Xbox One is the reason we don't have Cyberpunk. I don't want to start next gen knowing that Xbox is holding us back again. Yeah, I don't want to start next gen with a brand new previous gen hardware console. Like, what's the point?
This is the thing that we heard rumors when the Lockhart was being rumored and everyone was talking about it. There was rumors that apparently developers were like, "No, don't do this because you can't have two SKUs. We don't want to develop for two different consoles on your end, and whatever PlayStation comes up with, so far it's only rumored to be one console, but doing for multiple different SKUs already, and then down the line when you do a Pro version or an X version or an XX version or a triple X version, whatever you guys want to do in the future, don't have to do another SKU for that one. It dilutes the water way too much, and it's eventually going to be holding everyone back 2 years down the line, like you're saying.
Yeah, ridiculous, isn't it?
So this is a really bad move, and that's probably why it will get scrapped, like we're saying.
I hope it does, because again, I don't want to see Microsoft throwing money into it when we need their competition for Sony.
Yeah.
I selfishly, because I'm a Sony, I'm on the bandwagon at the minute.
You could say it. We're Sony ponies.
But are we? Because I would
We're not. I'm messing with you.
I know it sounds that way, and I have tons of great memories with Sony, and I have all of, PS1 to PS4, and I'm getting a PS5. But if the better console was the Xbox, I would switch,
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the games either. It doesn't have the games, and it doesn't have enough of a performance gap, Yeah,
but no, I feel you.
I don't want to see them doing that unless they know something, unless they think... The problem is that then as well, they start competing with Nintendo, and they cannot beat... If they can't beat Sony, there's no freaking way they're beating Nintendo.
Damn right.
The reason we don't include Nintendo numbers when we talk like quote-unquote console war, it's not just because the more serious gamers are on Xbox and PlayStation, it's because neither of them can compete with Nintendo. It's a totally different kettle of fish.
Doom Eternal is one of the best games that we've had this year, and probably one of the best games that I'm going to be playing on this generation.
Yep.
And it came out side by side with Animal Crossing.
Yep.
And my Twitter feed was filled with Animal Crossing. I was like, how are they holding a candle to this game? And it's just Nintendo, bruv. You can't do it.
You can't do it. Yeah, and that's why we don't talk about them. You know, we either talk about Nintendo or we talk about Sony and Microsoft. You can't. They don't compete. They're not compatible. You know.
We're actually scared of Nintendo. That's it. That's what we are.
It's it's one of those things because we're Sony ponies, like we said.
Exactly, we're Sony ponies.
It's just not gonna. It's not gonna work. You know.
Yeah.
So. They can't beat Nintendo, and then they're basically beating themselves. Oh, somebody's starting up a chainsaw. Lovely. Lovely.
The classic Conbrosations chainsaw on Sheps' end right there. It's lovely. Lovely to make an appearance. The third guest. That's what we're going to call him from now on.
That's it. So chainsaw, what do you think about this?
I'm imagining the Simpsons movie when Homer tries to start up a fake chainsaw to get those people from breaking in his house. That's
it. This just seems like terrible decision making, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I know we can do better. I know Microsoft can do better for us. And also they have Microsoft's gaming division. I know it's not really under Xbox, but they do siphon off a lot of money from PC gaming because of Windows and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they have the buffer, you know?
That's definitely what it is. If Xbox wasn't attached to a massive company like Microsoft, you have got to think to yourself, it's like, would they be making these kind of decisions?
I also think they'd be dead.
I was gonna say, would they still be around? Right? Yeah. That's the fucking thing. Oh boy, yeah. If they do launch this, if they do announce this Xbox Series X sometime in May, whatever, you remember we had that pizza bet where we said like, is which company's gonna make the first blunder?
Yeah.
I could see that being the blunder.
Yeah, absolutely. I just also that thing is gonna suck because we had all the exact same answers. I knew what your answer was gonna be because we do think very similarly, and I changed a few. And so it's going to be weird if one of us wins because we know that our answers are all the same as the ones that you said.
Yeah.
Except for what I had one that you really were surprised by. What was that? Oh, how big Cyberpunk will be. Something like that.
Yeah, the size of it. I was like, I'm going to go for a big number. I'm going to go for 120 gigs. You're like 200 gigs. Oh, whoa!
Not quite that. I do think 150, 160, something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah,
all right, should we move on to our next topic? This one's a short one. I just want to, because Sony announced, everyone was saying, we're stuck at home, what could we do? We could game and whatnot, and various companies came out saying what you should do, how you can help and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And Sony came out and they announced some big plans. They announced something called the Play at Home Initiative to help out with this crisis that we're going through at the moment. They themselves have donated $100 million to relief efforts to like help pay for like masks, to go to hospitals, to help pay for certain protective gear and things like that, to help pay for where things are lacking and stuff like that, which is a really cool thing. I think that's really nice of them to donate that money. They didn't have to.
Yeah.
They also donated $10 million to an indie dev fund, so indie developers who are affected in this time because they don't have big publishers to fall back on or anything like that, so they can carry on making games for us, essentially, which is, again, something really cool. They've slowed down certain parts of their servers so everyone can get a nice even playing field. So while everyone's at home playing online, they can all get their games that they want. They can play online with their friends so everyone gets a nice smooth service and whatnot. They've pulled all their staff out of like GDC and PAX and stuff like that for health reasons so no one else gets infected. Most of SIE Entertainment is working from home. And they've given to each one of you gamers, if you've got a PlayStation 4 right now, you should go and download this. They've given you Journey, the game, completely free to keep forever, and Uncharted Nathan Drake collection for all of the Uncharted games.
Yep.
And I think Uncharted 4 right now is free on PS Plus. So you get the whole collection if you're a PS Plus owner right there. That's pretty damn cool, I think.
That's the thing, again, like I just feel like we get pretty well treated when it comes to this stuff, you know. And I don't think Microsoft does similar things. It doesn't feel that way to me.
Yeah, they have other things that they do, but they didn't exactly react in this time. And this was very altruistic. I have to commend them for what they've done here. I have nothing of value to give myself other than the entertainment for you bros listening at home, which I'm putting in quotation marks, entertainment. And
heavy quote marks, yeah.
Yeah, it's just two dickheads on the internet talking about cocks and whatnot.
True.
But this is all I can give. But these guys have done something amazing. They didn't have to do anything, and they did. I will say, any of you guys who are playing the Uncharted collection and whatnot, if you're not playing it on crushing difficulty, you're not playing it right. Okay?
Do you know what?
Just saying.
That seamlessly goes into, so we mentioned our Discord before. We have got a few questions for the podcast, and one of them, Nywroc asked his first question: what do you think is the optimal difficulty to play a game on? So what do you think?
Crushing. There's definitely crushing right there. It's definitely, if you play on crushing, this is what happens, right? So I'm gonna tell you guys, and you guys can see the videos that I play, all the Uncharted games. I'm playing them right now. I'm in Uncharted 2, playing on crushing difficulty. The feeling that you get when you're playing the game and you get to a bit and you die from one bullet, all of the enemies are aimbots and they all shoot you right in the head, one bullet dead straight away. You get this utter frustration inside you that you just want to rip your balls off and you just want to throw it against the wall. That's how bad it is.
Right.
But then, when you kill all of those motherfuckers, when you destroy all of those aimbots with your shooty powers, with your gaming, your true gaming skill, that feeling of relief is better than any amount of coming, any amount of orgasm, any amount of, you know, when you have like the perfect shit, when you take the perfect dump.
Yeah, and you don't even need to wipe. Like you do one anyway, but you're clean,
Exactly. You do a dump, you don't need to wipe, and it was like the biggest, it was the most satisfying feeling ever. It's 10 times better than that feeling. And oh my God, it's great. But my real answer is probably around about medium. You don't want to go too far that you want to rip your balls off.
For real. I mean, I'll say, I think obviously it depends what kind of bugs you're experiencing, you know, because that will affect things, at least for me. But do you know what? Honestly, it depends. It depends on the game, you know. Sometimes you want the harder difficulty. Like, I think The Last of Us isn't any fun on easy mode.
Yeah, it's like, because the thing is that the whole game as well, the premise is really funny. Like, I've mentioned it on the streams and whatnot, how Nathan Drake somehow finds his way into like a 3,000-year-old tomb that's never been opened before. It's got booby traps all over the thing, and if you just stroll in there and it's really easy, doesn't really make sense, right?
Yeah.
So if you put on a little bit of difficulty, and then also there's some resistance from some enemies and stuff like that, I think it adds a little bit to it, adds a little bit to the gameplay.
But I will say, playing games like Uncharted, for example, on crushing, that doesn't look like any fun for me. I don't mind games being difficult. The thing is the difficulty, in my opinion, doesn't really go up. So it's not that the game's harder to beat, it's that you just die so much easier.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the enemies aren't more intelligent. They're not making more intelligent decisions. I would want to see, like, on easy mode, you throw a grenade and they go, oh, hey, look, this is pretty, and pick it up and it blows up in their face. And then on veteran, they're like, grenade, and throw it back, you know?
Yeah.
And then they flank you and stuff. That's harder. I don't want to see games where you just have less health and they do more damage and they have more health. Like, that isn't harder. That's just frustration, you know?
I think maybe that's something they could look into on next gen. Maybe they could go into like smarter enemy design, because the way they do it right now, even in Uncharted, where everyone's a fucking aimbot and they kill you with one bullet and stuff like that, I know that if I see an enemy get into the animation where he's about to throw a grenade, if I tap him with one bullet, then he drops that grenade next to him, and it's like a free kill on me for myself. So that's something, and I know how to take out various enemies through other tricks, and it's not that they're more harder, it's that they're more of a bullet sponge, or they kill you with one shot. So yeah,
exactly.
I know what you mean.
So I just I'd like to see that. I'd like to see more of that, you know.
Yeah. That was so that was what I wanted to mention about PlayStation. I think that's really cool. I think it's very nice of them. The next thing that we're going to talk about is Cyberpunk's DLC plans when it releases in September. So we just, as of recording, it's the 17th. Yesterday was the date that Cyberpunk 2077 was going to release. And boy, oh boy, I upset a few people on Twitter. I put up a tweet and I was like, today is the day that Cyberpunk was going to release. I hope that you guys are all as upset as I am by this tweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some people got upset by that.
That was very frustrating, not going to lie.
So Cyberpunk, in a recent earnings call, they were speaking with their investors, and they said that the Cyberpunk 2077 will have a similar scenario to The Witcher 3 when it comes to expansions. It will have lots of free updates and at least 2 major expansions the size of Blood and Wine and Heart of Stone from The Witcher 3. How do you feel about that, Brosif?
I have said since, 2015, that The Witcher, one of the reasons I'm for CD Projekt Red is the size and quality of the DLC they gave us and the price point. Like, either one of those games could have been standalone games.
Yeah.
Right? I think Heart of Stone's 8 hours and then Blood and Wine's like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And they are...
And I've played them now, so I can talk.
Yes, you have. They are every bit as good as the main game.
Genuinely. I mean, I've recently played them as well on stream with all the bros and stuff like that, and I can say that, yeah, they are so good. The amount of quality that goes into them, the attention to each one of the conversations, the characters, how deep they are, the stories and how they develop, how realistic they are as well.
Yeah.
God,
and one of them, Blood and Wine gave us an entire new region. And when I say region, it's not like a small little map. This is a whole, like, continent. It's a huge open world experience, and it's
incredible. And if they put that kind of love and attention into the Cyberpunk 2077 DLCs, that's fantastic.
Absolutely
news.
great
I can't
news.
wait for that. Apparently they're going to talk more about that in the months before the release. They didn't say specifically, but that means in sometime in summer, when it comes to either June, July, or August even, they're going to show off the DLC that they're planning and whatnot, when that might be coming out, and giving you little teasers and stuff like that. However, I do have to say, we haven't seen anything from Cyberpunk 2077 since EGX, which is the UK event that we went to.
We didn't even really see anything at EGX.
Yeah,
that
we
mission
saw
we'd seen before,
right? Yeah.
And what we actually saw was a guy who was apparently playing it, but if you ask me, it didn't look like it to me.
To me, it looked like it. But we can say neither here nor there.
Or like, let's say this. You know, when we played the Marvel Avengers game, how super on rails that mission was.
Yeah.
It felt like the mission he played was super on rails. If he'd have wanted to go left instead of right, I don't think he could have.
I think that's more apt. I think that's a bit better. Like he had it was a set mission that they were going to show off a certain aspect of the game, something that we've already seen before. And it was like, you can't go out of this corridor type thing. Yeah, so they did that. I think that's more apt. But yeah, it's strange that we haven't even seen a trailer or more details or anything like that, especially in a game that's supposed to be so massive and so expansive.
And apparently coming in a few months.
Exactly.
I don't believe it. Also, the game was supposed to have released, a few days ago?
Yeah.
So why have we not seen the trailer? The trailer should have been ready well before now.
Yeah, there should have been something, right? Because, I mean, if this was the planned release date, then they should have had other videos, other things going up. I mean, we don't know. They probably revised their whole PR strategy and whatnot, so maybe that's just cause for it not to come out now. But it would be cool to see something. CD Projekt Red, guys, I know you're listening over there. Grosza daj, wierz mi nowi, that kind of stuff. The only Polish I know. You guys over there, we love you. You guys should maybe send us a video or two. If you want, I will break the news for you. Me and Sheps can get together. We can do a dedicated, exclusive interview for you right there, showing you the latest details on Cyberpunk 2077. That'll be okay. We'd be willing to do that for them.
I reckon we can squeeze them in, yeah.
Yeah. Go on, guys. We got you over there. We got you. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to talk about was Ghosts of Tsushima. So apparently, this game has got someone's collected a bunch of data regarding. Do you know they did was it the Wired magazine where they spoke about the details of Ghost of Tsushima for the first time, like the gameplay and stuff like that? It was in A magazine, right? Was it Game Informer? Perhaps
it was in A magazine. That's true.
Yeah, so they showed off the first bits of information and stuff like that. And also someone has collected a whole bunch of information with interviews and offhand comments and stuff like that and collected it all together and has found some interesting information. And then when they pitch that information to the internet, the guys over at Sucker Punch, they confirmed that it is all true. So we got some interesting new stuff to talk about here. Apparently, there will be no landmarks, so no waypoint system in this game. So you will have to rely on physical landmarks and understanding the world that you explore. How's that going to work out for you, Sheps?
Well, I think this is an interesting decision that they've made, and
I can hear the thing in your voice. You're like, shit.
I'm so screwed. I'm so screwed.
Tell the lads how you find games and what your traditional method is when it's open world.
I go for shiny things and just go. I've played, so I have never finished Skyrim, but I have played probably like 10 to 20 hours, somewhere in there. Never met the Greybeards.
The Greybeards.
It's the first mission. So...
And I remember, it's so vivid.
Do you remember,
it's so vivid in my head. I remember the day.
Do you remember, I played...
God of War?
I played Dead Space. Oh yeah, God of War. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. But even playing Dead Space, where it's pretty linear, without that thing that pops up on the ground and shows you, like even on stream, I got turned around a few times, or like tried to find rooms and stuff. Like I'm like, oh, can I get in here? And I'm just obsessed with getting in behind the glass, to get the thing that's back there.
You're like, so like in those in like Simpsons and whatnot, where they go, ooh, what's the guy's name? I don't remember the guy's name that goes, ooh, piece of candy,
Yeah,
and he follows a trail. You'd get lost on that trail.
Yeah, I really would. I think the thing you're thinking of is I was playing God of War, God of War 4,
God,
and I came across the Valkyries, right, and so I started beefing them. And I sent you a text because it wasn't the Queen Valkyrie. It was like one of them.
One of the other ones.
Yeah, but we're talking like, I'm not even 25% of the way through the game. And I've killed like 6 of them. These are basically serious boss fights,
Yeah.
And there was one I just could not beat. I didn't have the he gets his blades back. I didn't have those back.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, bruv, is there a way to beat this thing? I just cannot beat this thing. And you're like, you finished the story, right? And I'm like, nah, not even close.
I'm not even close. And I'm like, hold on a minute.
And I'm going for endgame content.
Yeah, you're fighting the Valkyries? My God, what is wrong with you?
It's just how I'm wired, man.
I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. You getting lost in every single game and going off the path, and rage quitting when you break a game. That's your two.
Me
things,
break
two
the
signature.
game. The game comes to me broken, bruv. I just
I love that's become a meme in the Discord. By the way, everyone's just like Shep's breaking games
Frick
as
those
usual.
Guys. What do they know?
We need to make a T-shirt, Game Breaker or something like that.
Yeah, maybe we should.
You breaking
Breaker of games.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah. With like dragons and an inverted dragon in the background. Ghost, I feel like is one that maybe we should jam together, Because there's no way I'm jamming it on my own without knowing. Unless do we have a compass or a mini map? Like, I don't like the sound of it at all.
Yeah, they don't go into details here, but it seems like it's just. So So I'll tell you one thing that does work for me here. So think about GTA, for example, right? A lot of the places in GTA, you kind of know from rough areas, like a building or a lake or something like that, or a hill. You're like, I know where I am. Yeah. But for the most part, you do rely on your GPS system that you've got.
And the map tells you where you're going, right? Even if it doesn't give you a route, it will show you, this is where you need to be, and then figure out a way to get there. Yeah. But if we don't have that, I'm fricked.
Oh boy, this is going to be so much fun.
I'm so screwed.
I can't wait for it. I really. What I'm gonna do? We have to have you stream it. And just have Ashton can make a cool compilation of just every time you get lost and be like, where the fuck am I?
It's just gonna be 10 hours of Shep saying, where am I? Where is this thing? Why is this glitch still here?
Look out for that content, guys, first on patreon.com/conbrosations.
That's right. So
exclusive content.
I hope they must have thought about it, though. They must have, like, good landmarks. Like, the mission will say, go to the place near the East Mountain, and you have a compass, and you can see a giant mountain. You know, it can't be too...
I think it's going to be quite obvious. I mean, to be fair, it's to be fair, in the times that is set in like the samurai era, they don't have the ability to build skyscrapers and stuff like that. So a lot of the land is just going to be fields and maybe a forest, and then occasionally you're going to find a beautiful, those beautiful Japanese red buildings and whatnot they make out of wood and stuff like that.
Temples and stuff, yeah.
Temples, exactly. So they're going to be famous landmarks like that you're going to know. I assume.
I hope.
One other thing that they mentioned as well in this, from collecting all of this data and whatnot, is that apparently your interactions with other characters could affect your relationships with those characters. So I'm going to read this little bit here because I found it was interesting. It says, the player's combat choices can even impact the interactions with other characters in Ghost of Tsushima. Shimura, sorry if I'm fucking that up, I'm fucking this up as well. Sakai's uncle, and also a samurai, does not approve of the ninja skills which could... It's a bit of a weird wording here. And also samurai doesn't approve of ninja skills, which could negatively impact your relationship with the character that you would rely on a bit too much.
It sounds like he's a samurai, and so he doesn't like that you're learning ninja skills.
Exactly. Yeah.
I dig stuff like that.
That's cool, right? That's very cool.
That's exactly the stuff I've been calling for. And I've said I would prefer, rather than having a 400-hour game, I'd rather have a 50-hour game that can be played... what's that, like 20 different ways? No. Yeah, something like that. Loads of different ways, Yeah. I would want it to be able to be an entirely different experience, right? I want it to be things like, if I make, like a black female character, like, does she experience racism that the white one didn't? Or like sexism when the male one didn't, and stuff like that. Where like you see an NPC and he's super cool to you because you're like a white skinhead dude or whatever, and then you go into that same shop and you're like, oh yeah, I love this dude, and because you're a black chick, he's like a prick. I'd love to experience that in the game.
That would be very cool. It would be very cool.
And
just
even
different ways,
right? And like the difference. I'd love to see missions play out differently. Like when you get a stealth is optional for this mission thing, right?
Yeah. When
you succeed with the mission, you still get the same thing, right? You still rescued the hostages.
Yes.
But I would love to see it be entirely different, Like, if you don't opt for stealth, they're afraid of you. Or something like that, and it changes how the game develops,
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I'd love to see for gaming, personally.
I'd like to see that too. It's a very interesting way. It's a way that a lot of people don't think about. I don't know whether that's something to do with the limitations of maybe size or hard drive space, or maybe it's a budget thing. Maybe they don't want to record the person's line 7 different ways or something like that.
Well, that's a really good thing. I actually genuinely didn't think about that.
But still, if you have an ambition, if you have a vision, a creative vision, you should really go all the way with it, right? You shouldn't be restricted.
I think so.
Obviously, there's real life to consider as well, but yeah, that shouldn't be the way. Yeah, so that's the 2 things on Ghost of Tsushima. I'm actually low key really excited for this game. Like, I know people are like, "Oh, this is going to be quite a cool game," and some people are saying it's going to be Game of the Year contender. I could genuinely see this being a really, really, really fantastic game and actually taking everyone by storm as a brand new IP and whatnot.
It looks.
However.
It looks awesome. Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks awesome. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But you had a however.
However, I mean, The Last of Us got delayed, right?
I was going to say, I didn't want to say it because you were so keen on it. I wasn't going to say, like, if it comes out.
Mate, what's happened to you? You love to shit on everything I love. Come on, man. Keep that up.
It's only fun when I'm there to experience the sadness in your eyes,
So you just do it when you're here, just so you could be like, oh, look, I've crushed his soul. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly
good. I
right.
like it. I like it. Yeah, they delayed The Last of Us, and this was it was May, June, so 1 month after The Last of Us. That can't make that big of a difference, right? That has to be delayed also.
I don't want it to be. I really don't know if these games are coming out, man. You know, if they like, first of all, The Last of Us, was supposed to come out a month ago. Yeah. Cyberpunk was supposed to be out, and next gen consoles are supposed to be out. I think everything's getting pushed back. I think everything gets pushed back to at least 6 months behind when it was supposed to come out. You know,
I hope they say something soon, because to be honest, like, I was looking forward to The Last of Us quite a lot, actually. I was looking forward to getting my early edition and shit like that I overspent on, because I overspend on everything.
Yeah.
And I was really excited. And then when it came out, I was like, oh, fuck, another delay. And now it's not even got a date. Jesus Christ. And we said, okay, Ghost of Tsushima's a month after The Last of Us. Are we going to wait a month and then we're going to hear that Ghost of Tsushima's also delayed as well? Just because that's how their timeline's going. Just say it if you're going to do it. Just say it if you're going to do it. Get it done. Rip the Band-Aid off.
I agree. Just rip it off. Yeah, it hurts, but we're like, cool. Stop getting my hopes up and like kicking the can down the road, because I'm eventually just not going to buy your game, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's just going to piss me off too much.
Yeah.
And also, we're in this fucking quarantine. Give us some games to play, goddammit. Although I'm playing a lot of games at the moment. The backlog is great for this moment. And one last thing, Crysis, the game that we all know, that we've all heard about for so many years as the game to test out the power of your
the barrel
PC.
Thing. Yeah.
To test out how cool your PC is and whether or not it can handle the greatest game, the most technically advanced game, at least back then, is being remastered and is coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. That's
an interesting one.
That really surprised me. But the Switch, we played The Witcher on it. Yeah, the textures were a little bit, you could see the anti-aliasing and stuff a bit. But mate, it looked really good. Surprisingly good.
It did look really good. It did. I have to say, the Witcher thing did surprise me a lot. When we heard about it, it was like, The Witcher on Nintendo.
But mate, imagine you're on the train on the way to work when the lockdown's all finished and you're playing The Witcher, and it looked that good.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. I was like, okay, I can see the technical downfalls and whatnot of putting it on a Switch, but I'm playing the freaking Witcher 3, bro. Yeah. I'm Geralt of Mother Truckin' Rivia.
For sure.
The Butcher of Blaviken right in my hands.
Yeah.
So I was like, great, that's fantastic. But Crysis, this was the game that people used to melt their computers to show off how, like, you know, like when you go to car shows or like in a car park where someone's revving their engine insanely, and then it sets on fire.
The Matalan nearby or whatever. Yeah.
That's how British we are. That's exactly what happens in Britain. People would set their cars on fire just from like revving it. So this is that game. They would run that game and watch their CPU temperature just rise and rise and rise. And it's going on the Nintendo Switch.
In fairness though, Crysis, it's like 2013 or something. Like it's it is old.
Yeah. It is,
and I don't.
It's being remastered though. So update stuff.
It's the remastered one that's going on.
Yes. Yeah, it's been remastered.
That changes things. Because I was going to say the other thing is, the likelihood is that people aren't doing the barrel testing on their Switch. Like one guy will do it, the YouTubers will do it, but the average gamer isn't trying to see what their Switch would do if you put 1 million barrels up.
That's true. They're not like running physics engines to see how their Switch performs.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I'm interested. I mean, and also there is another question in this. Who was the guy in the boardroom that was like, all right, we're going to remaster the Crysis game. It's a lot of hardcore gamers, the true gamers, if you will, of the internet will know what Crysis is. They'll want to play. Where are they playing games the most? Well, they're playing on PlayStation 4, they're playing on Xbox One, they're playing on PC, and the other guy in the corner is like, they're also playing on Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone tried to oppose that opinion. They were like, well, we can't really because they've sold more than Xbox. There's more of them than there are Xboxes out there.
By a long way. Or a fair way.
And then they all just looked at each other and they were like, I guess we're making it for the Nintendo Switch. I guess.
This is what I'm saying. I don't think the Scarlet should come out, because if it's trying to compete with the Switch and the Switch is competing with their flagship, you know?
It's a strange one. We live in strange times.
It is weird. If we do live in strange, it was a weird time on the internet, man.
Oh boy. All right, so that's all the news that we have. We did have one little tiny other topic. There was so Days Gone appeared on Amazon France, and a bunch of other games like Persona 5 Royale for PC specifically.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people were like, "Oh, sweet, I can sell my PlayStation because all these PlayStation exclusive games are coming to PC." Turns out some guy was trolling over on Amazon France.
Yeah.
I don't know how they were doing it, but he just listed it as for PC. And then when they asked Sony for a comment, they were like, no, there's absolutely no plans for these games to come to PC.
Can we just quickly talk about Persona 5? Zahir put like 70 hours on it, then played Final Fantasy, then went back to replay it.
He's a machine, that guy, bro.
He really is.
God damn it, that guy's a machine.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a true gamer right there.
There's a couple of, talking of the Discord and stuff to hear, there are a couple of questions for us in our podcast room. Do you want to do one or two of those?
Let's dip into that. I want to bring up one question that was brought up for our previous podcast that I didn't get to answer and whatnot, but I feel like it's a very nice one. Just a little opinion one to get our brains flowing and whatnot. It's from Dan the Man. He says, what party/group games do you love or hate to play with friends and family? And he also says, are the days of split screen gaming gone? You know, it could be Corona related, he goes.
The split as of right now, split screen, nah.
Dead in the war.
Yeah.
Dead in the war. Are there any games that you like that are like co-op now? I rarely play any co-op games, to be fair.
Yeah, I tend to find if I'm playing multiplayer, it's like Apex or Call of Duty or something, or Fortnite, something like that. Although, I feel like something like, there was that game where you played as two people escaping prison.
A Way Out.
A Way Out. There's a few games we've been meaning to play. I think that one could be a lot of fun. What was it, 12 minutes or something? We saw it at
that's still coming out. That still hasn't come out yet, but we saw the Xbox showcase.
That's one that I suspect we both really mean to play and we'll never get around to. Do you know what I mean? And I want to play it. I want to see how that goes. I think that would be a great stream game. Co-op, I remember playing a frick ton of Halo co-op, just like jamming around with my boys on like the Warthog and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I could jam some split screen if it was like you and me and we were on stream or something, just jamming live with the boys. I could absolutely jam something co-op.
I've been, a game that I played that I really like but couldn't play with everybody because it's a very unique game, and it goes back to PlayStation VR. There's a game called Everyone Talks and Nobody Explodes, something like that.
The bomb one.
Yeah, so
I
the way
do
it
like
works,
that.
It's so cool. The premise is so cool. It's so unique to PSVR. So like, you're in a VR headset, and the person who's in the VR headset, only they can see a bomb that their hands are trapped in.
Yeah, let's say I'm in the PSVR headset. The headset's on me. I can see the bomb. Like I'm like next to a table with a bomb on it, right?
Yeah.
I can see it. Ed can't.
And I have to give you the instructions on how to disarm it. And the only way that you know is you have to explain what the fuck you're seeing on this bomb.
So
because
exactly,
it's completely different every time.
Ed has an instruction manual on how to deal with certain like puzzles or circuits or whatever. But I have to tell him what I can see. So I would say like, okay, I see the first one. It's got 3 blinking lights. Are they red lights or green lights? There's 2 red and 1 green. Oh, 2 red and 1 green. Okay, that means this. Okay, does it have yellow and blue wires or only blue wires? Stuff like that. It is a lot of fun, but I can also see it being like, that is the VR version of Monopoly where you lose friends and family forever.
100%. See, this is the thing. I want. We have an idea maybe to do some stuff with Fishy one day whenever we can meet up after this like quarantine and stuff like that. I want to play this game with him, and I can see us all either loving each other or fucking hating each other after playing that game.
That's the sort of game where you come out and can't speak, and either you had so much fun or like you yelled yourself hoarse, you know?
Because it's just like, I said to you 3 wires. Yes, but what colour fucking 3 wires? I said red and blue. What order, you stupid cunt?
Yeah,
fucking
absolutely.
hell.
I love that. And that's the best bit, is because there is the clock's ticking down, right? But you eventually get so annoyed that you start yelling at the Brer instead of getting across the information that you need to fix. It's so good. I love it.
Wasting time on just calling each other dickheads.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good.
Oh, God, that is really cool.
So I think co-op's not dead, but I think it needs a creative way to think about things.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Do you want to read one of the next comments, bro? You wanted the next questions we've got here?
Nywroc's got a few, but I want to ask, Ozzie's asked one, which is, do you two have acclaimed games on your list to play that you've never played yet? And if so, which?
Ooh, well, as famously as you guys know, I'm playing through a bunch of games that I haven't played. So while I am the host, one of the hosts anyway, of the True Gamer podcast, and I am a certified True Gamer because me and Sheps hand out the cards for that, and I graciously gave myself one. I accepted with honor as well. I haven't played a lot of acclaimed games, and since like getting reacquainted with the Four Pillars community and whatnot, I haven't played in most of the Assassin's Creed games. So like things like Assassin's Creed 2 that everyone's saying is fucking amazing. The see, I'm gonna sound like such a noob here. Brotherhood, is that 2 or is that a separate game? I don't know. I hear people say Brotherhood and 2 as if they're 2 different games, so I don't know.
I have no idea.
Assassin's Creed 3 I did play and whatnot. Black Flag I did play. But some of these games, Origins and whatnot, I started up and then I just went, it's Assassin's Creed, see you later. I've got better games to play because I'm not an AC YouTuber. So there are some games on there like that, and I haven't played Uncharted 3 yet, and I still haven't finished Uncharted 2. These are some critically acclaimed games that people are just like, you have to play, Eddie, and I still haven't played them. God. And also the Final Fantasy games as well. People are telling me to play that. I haven't played them either.
I'm actually with you on the Assassin's Creed. I've never played Assassin's Creed, except for once. Back in the day where you could rent games from Blockbuster, I got Assassin's Creed 1, walked or fell into a pond or something and died, and returned the game the same day. Because I was like, I'm supposed to be a badass assassin. I'm jumping from like a rooftop into hay and getting a little bit wet kills him instantly. So I never played it. I played like not very much of it. It was just too dumb for me.
But Sheps, add Ezio and the Apple of Eden or
whatever that means.
Other James says.
And the Orange of Eden is my favourite fruit for sure.
Best fruit ever.
But Black Flag actually looks really entertaining. It looks like a lot of fun. The sea battle-y stuff looks great. I caught some of James streaming it, and it looks really good. I'm a big fan of Black Sails.
Bully in the alley.
Who doesn't love a sea shanty? If you guys need something to watch on Amazon Prime, Black Sails, it's freaking amazing. It's so good. So I like that idea of like being a pirate and pirate ship battles and stuff. So I wouldn't mind playing that. But acclaimed games like right now, I still haven't played Doom Eternal.
Awkward. You just brought that up right
I need to do that.
I got the platinum on that. Woo!
Yeah, good for you. I'm playing Final Fantasy 9 right now and freaking loving it. I say before you do another Uncharted game, you need to do Final Fantasy 7. So you do Uncharted 2, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Uncharted 3. That's what I think you should do.
The way I usually do it is that I don't do Uncharted because that just gets too much for people. I was going to do a game between that. I'm going to definitely put Final Fantasy 7 and Resident Evil 3, which a lot of people have been telling me to play. I'm going to put that in the mix as well. And I'll put like a poll up eventually and say, all right, guys, what we playing? I was thinking about doing God of War 4, but that might be, I mean, it's great and everything.
It's a great one, but it's long.
Yeah, it is a bit long and whatnot, and it's great, but I think people more would rather see either Final Fantasy or Resident Evil 3 or something.
I think
like
you're
that.
right. Have you got the God of War Plat?
I do have the platinum on that, yeah.
No need
basically,
to
I'll be playing. Exactly, I'll just be playing it for fun. And what the hell? Who plays for fun?
Right.
Who plays
Losers.
for fun?
That's who.
Innit? Losers, non-gamers like Zahir, fucking, and Jas as well. That guy, fuck that guy.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Was there more to his question, or was that basically
that was his question. I mean, Nywroc's got another one, which is quite interesting. Depends how much time we got.
Just before we get through that, I also asked people to tell us what they're playing as well and whatnot. And Ozzie's also playing the Uncharted games as well for the first time.
Yeah.
You better be playing on Crushing, by the way, otherwise you're a fake gamer. That's
fake gamer.
Really cool right there.
So Nywroc, talking of Doom Eternal, that's what he's playing. He's ripping and tearing in that. His second question, so we already answered, what's the optimal difficulty? What is something you look for in most games? Or you look for most in a game, and what is an immediate deal breaker that will make you stop playing a game? Me, I've never stopped playing a game. I complete them all.
I'm sorry. Oh shit! I laughed way too hard at that. Oh my god, that was good. I didn't see that coming at all, and that was so perfect. Oh my god, I love you. Oh, that's so good right there. Oh boy. Okay, I need to center myself. The thing that I look for in a game, it's changed since I was, back in the day when we used to play like Call of Duty and stuff like that.
Does it have Call of Duty in the name?
Exactly. Does it have Call of Duty in it? Yes or no? Yes, I buy. No, we'll see you later.
Yeah, exactly.
And I changed a lot, and it's mainly just been about story now. If I can get a gripping story, somehow move me, somehow make me think in a way that I didn't think, I love it. Like, that was one of the things that I liked about the Left Behind DLC from the Last of Us. When someone says, like a gay relationship between two characters, right? You think, okay, gay relationship between two characters, like a man and a man kissing or a woman and a woman kissing. But this was two innocent, almost children, right? Children having the most innocent relationship that you can tell is clearly going to go into like a lesbian relationship, but it was so innocent and so touching and so lovely. And I was like, I never ever even thought about this. I was like, that's great. That's something that now I'm looking for, not necessarily lesbian relationships, but looking for something that will move me and something that will just go, you feel this, Eddie, something you've never felt before, or something that you didn't see coming. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for really in a game, man.
I'm with you. I like that stuff. I'll say that, like for me, I don't care if the characters are gay or black or like upside down polka dot aliens. Couldn't care less. Right? Are they good characters? Are they doing like reasonable decisions? Something that will make me, obviously bugs and stuff, but like I played through Jedi Fallen Order and that was bug ridden.
No,
for me,
I won't let you say that about the good developers over at Respawn. They produce a flawless
Respawn, by
game.
The way.
God,
I love Respawn, but the thing is, I think I actually played your one, and you didn't have any bugs.
Yeah, I didn't.
So
you know what? If I
weird.
did have any, they were very unnoticeable. They were very.
Yeah.
They were barely there. But you had every game.
I had literally every single one, and like, it is funny, the rage quit thing. But I played the whole game, and you've seen some of the stuff that I had to deal with. I will put up with a lot of stuff. Like, I had to fight actually every sister. Yeah. Everyone, what they call the Seven Sisters or whatever.
Yeah, something like the Seven Sisters.
Every single one had one of 3 or 4 bugs, which was they wouldn't light up when they were doing their unbreakable attack. They would
Welcome to the bug portion of the podcast. Guys,
yeah, well, hold on. But my point is that I still played through the game. Like, even with one went red so after the first unblockable attack, he just stayed red she stayed red the entire time. So I couldn't tell when it was coming. I had to there was no prompt, right? Yeah. And I still played through the game. So it's the kind of bugs that bother me.
Yeah.
And like I said with Assassin's Creed, if something's just so stupid, like I don't see any reason why an assassin badass like that can't touch water. I'm not going to play it.
Yeah.
It feels silly to me. That's a bit hardcore, but that stuff, I don't really care if the characters have to be good as well. If characters make really dumb decisions, like, over time, have you guys seen Cabin in the Woods? Tell me you've seen that.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Right. When they go, let's all split up, and the guy's like, no, that's the worst decision. That's ridiculous, and they have to put the hormone in to make everybody do it.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's all very bad.
because splitting up clearly the worst decision, right? If you're a black guy and you think you're in a horror movie,
get out.
You're first. We all know it, right? Like, you need to go in the middle, and everybody like surrounds you with knives and stuff, like pointing outwards, like, you need protection, like, so stuff like that. If it's a terrible decision like that, and you're just like, this character would never think that way, that kills it for me, or overt politics. If they're like, oh, look how amazing and diverse and blah, I don't care. Just make awesome characters. I don't care if they're this or that, gay or whatever.
Luckily, we don't get that much in gaming. Like, you do see every now and again where sometimes they get a little heavy-handed with certain like social politics and stuff.
I thought Horizon Zero Dawn was really heavy-handed.
Yeah, there was some issues with that I did take issues with as well. She was very different to every other character. Like, everyone else was a simpleton, like a proper caveman and whatnot, and she was just a normal person in that time. It was very strange.
It was.
Overall, I did like that game.
It's pretty. It's very pretty. I like the idea, but I felt super heavy-handed with like who is in what position, and like every bad guy's male. Every incompetent person's male. She's a hyper genius. Also, Aloy doesn't grow at all. She doesn't really get interesting.
Ooh, hot takes here, hot take part of the podcast.
I found her, and as much I actually like Aloy. I just think she was poorly written. I think she's an interesting concept, but
maybe there'll be some more growth in the second one that will help you.
I really want to like it. I really want to like it, but at every turn, when everybody that's getting things wrong or an evil person is male, and everybody that's like trustworthy and competent's female, and all your generals are female, and you're in an apocalypse. Like, you can't be risking your fighters to be women,
What you're basically telling us is that you hate women in general. Is that what you're saying? Right?
Yeah, didn't I start by saying, as someone that hates women? Did I forget?
Oh, sorry, I must have missed that bit. Sorry about that, guys. Take that as a quote. Take that as a direct quote right there. Do you know about the deal breaker? And this is quite fascinating, actually, because I'm replaying Days Gone at the moment, and I stopped playing that game at a very specific point because I encountered something that I was like, oh, I can't play this game anymore. It's just too much. I can't take it anymore. The game's coming up to sorry about that cough, by the way. The game's coming up to its 1 year anniversary. I think it's the 20th or 21st of May or April. Sorry, so it's very, very close. And I thought, let me replay it. I think I didn't actually see that. I must have subconsciously picked it up, because then I just started playing Days Gone randomly, and I was like, oh, it's coming up to its 1 year anniversary. The thing that I saw that has now been fixed, thank the fuck God, there was this like input lag delay thing on everything that you used to do in the world every time you used to interact. And I'd get up to, say, like a car, and he would shove his knife into the bonnet and like open it up and then grab like some scraps so he could like repair his bike and stuff like that. There would be this input lag between me pressing that, and it was a press and hold, not just a press button. Press and hold. On top of that, wait for the delay, wait for him to get into position, and then actually go do his thing. And you have to do this a lot in this game because it's apocalyptic future. You don't know where you're going to get your next meal, when you're going to get your scraps from and whatnot. So you need to get these scraps from cars and things like that all the time. And every single time getting that hint of delay, that like half a second delay, every single time I was like, I can't play this game no more. I remember
asking you about it, and that was really weighing on you. Like,
so bad.
You did that. You know what, man? Like, it was one of those. And I was like, mate, if you're giving up on it, because you have way more patience than me. Like, I would not play the whole of Uncharted on ground or whatever it is.
You can't even watch me play it. You're in the streams and you're
frustrating.
Like, turn it off. Turn it off.
Here's the thing as well. In fairness, for the crushing stuff, for me, I'll put the difficulty up until it stops making the game more fun. So like when I was streaming that Call of Duty campaign, Diogo was like, put it on whatever the hardest one was, like veteran or whatever. And I was like, okay. And did it, and you can do it. You just die a bit more often, but I'm a gamer. Grew up gaming. I can do it. It just takes longer to do stuff. And I was playing it for the story, so I put the difficulty back down. After I think we did like 2 or 3 hours of it, and then I put it down on the next stream. But I put it down. you know. And I would have played the whole thing if there was a reason to play it on that. Like if I'd agreed to it or something, I would have done it. I would have done the whole game, assuming it would have got past that certain section.
Yeah.
But for you, it's so frustrating to watch you just continually go through these sections and get wrecked. And I'm just like, turn it down 2 settings, beat this thing, and then put it back up for the boss. You know, like, oh man, yeah.
There was
I don't know how you do it.
In Uncharted 1, when I got to the boss battle, it was literally, I was behind destructible environments. So if these guys shot me too much, which they did all the time with their automatic weapons, it would destroy that. I could only pop up at certain intervals when they weren't shooting, which was very rare. And I only had weapons that had close range or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had to use weapons that were like next to one shot killed in the close range and whatnot. I was like, God, I need everything to go in my favor to beat this, and I won't turn down the difficulty because everyone's watching.
Yeah, I think the other thing is, like, if you got to a point where because of the difficulty you're in, you cannot succeed, like if you were out, if there weren't enough ammo pickups, for example, and there were too many enemies, like at that point I'm like, nah, you have to. And I would hate to see a game get stalled out because of a difficulty thing like that. But otherwise, I mean, you got a lot of patience, I got to be honest.
I do. It's really...
But then again, your celebrations, you know.
Oh, dude, the feeling, I'm telling you, it's the best feeling ever. It's better than any shit, better than any orgasm, anything you've ever done in your life.
Then why do you not remember to save? Because I remember what happened with The Witcher.
We don't talk about that. We don't do that here. We don't.
Maybe you don't talk about it, but the rest of us, we damn sure do.
Do you want to know what other game I actually not rage quitted, but just ended and never came back to?
Yeah, go
on. Mass Effect 3.
What?
I had never played any Mass Effect game, and because you spoke about it so fondly, and you was like, "Oh, Mass Effect's great," and whatnot.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I think it was new when it came out, so you couldn't have possibly known if it was good or not and whatnot. And I was
I jammed the shit out of it, but yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly. You're a big fan. You'll play it regardless, right? It's like me and Superman. Anything that comes out, I'm like, I'm gonna buy this Superman thing. It's not so great. It's Superman, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I played it, and it was somewhere very early in the game. It was very early in the game, and I had got to a point where I had 3 bullets left in my gun, or whatever phase or whatever the hell it is I was using, and I was in a hallway with so many enemies, and I died a couple of times, and the checkpoint was maybe 2 seconds before I get into that hallway. And I couldn't go back, and I couldn't go any further forward because there was people there, and I had 3 bullets, and I was like, I'm fucked. I am fucked. I can't get through this hallway. What the hell am I supposed to do? I just turn it off and never played it again. It haunts me to this day because I go on my PSN profiles and I think I've got like 1 or 2 trophies or something like that on it, and it's just stuck there, staining my profile, just looking at it.
I'll say Mass Effect 2 is the best.
Yeah?
It's definitely it's the better game. I think it's the better story. It's got the best ending.
If I was to ever go to a Mass Effect, I should go to 2.
100%. Also, there's, I can't remember off the top of my head the name of the classes, but is it Vanguard or something? Is like so overpowered. It's so much fun. Only once you beat the game already, though.
Really?
Yeah, go through it once. Well, if you're a nerd like me and you like to replay stuff, you go through it once. Try a new spec. So you go through it as whatever spec you go through, and then you go, I think it's Vanguard. It's just so overpowered. You just blast through it. It's only because you've already earned the win, you know?
Yeah.
But that 2's the best, in my opinion, for sure. 3's cool. 3's really good. And obviously being newer, it's better graphics and all that stuff. But
better looking.
I think 2's the best.
There you go.
1's trash. I love it, but oh my god, the UI is so bad. It's so clunky. It's terrible. Don't play 1. Just if for some reason you were going to play an old game, play Mass Effect 2.
Mass Effect 3 was on the PS3, right?
Was it on the 3?
I think it was. I'm just looking up now. I was trying to look for the trophies that I had for it, and I couldn't find it on my profile. And this was back in the day. I used to do something really stupid. For those of you guys that don't know, I used to make a new PSN every time a new Call of Duty came out.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
I have one that's Black Ops Kills with a Z at the end. I had MW3 Kills with a Z at the end.
You did, yeah.
And so I would lose all my trophies. This is before I became a full-on trophy whore, where I used to whore out myself for every trophy I could get. And And I think it was on one of those. That's why I can't see it properly anymore. But
you are right, though. It's 2012 is Mass Effect 3.
Just before the film.
Yeah.
And this was back in the day when PSNs, you didn't have to pay for PS Plus. So you could just make one tomorrow. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
For sure. Honestly, if you're going to play Mass Effect, play 2. It's great. You might as well, if you really enjoy it, go through 3 again.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, the ending's pretty disappointing. But overall, it's fun enough. I haven't played Andromeda, and I'm not gonna.
I heard that was actual garbage.
Yeah.
Actual garbage, as Shep says.
Garbage. Yeah.
Shep's famous garbage right there. Yeah. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Have you seen Jass's comment as well in the podcast channel? He says, I haven't got a question, just a request. No, damn it. No, a demand. Play Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's it. Play the goddamn game.
Yeah. I mean, talking of that, in fact, I knew there was another question. Marathon, right? Well, we've already said, I think you're going to play it after Uncharted 2, right?
I think so. As I said, I'll put it in the poll. Whatever people say, go for that one.
I think you should play it. It's really good.
I think I should as well, because it's timely as well. Better not let it go. But people want to see me shit myself in RE3 as well, so that's also an option.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
It is apparently only like 6 hours long, so maybe I could play both.
Yeah, maybe you could do both. Marathon has a very good question.
Go on.
He says, many games nowadays are getting remakes for current gen, and I was wondering what you guys think about this. Do you think older games should get remade? If so, what are your thoughts on huge cuts of content and changes in some of the remakes that differ from the original? And he's currently playing Kingdom Hearts Birth because he wants
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, he wanted to know what all the fuss was about, and he's enjoying it.
Right. Okay. You could tell me about it because I haven't played any of the Kingdom Hearts as well. All I've seen is that what's that horsey and
I don't know, horsey and goose. I think something like that.
Yeah, chicken and a duck, whatever.
Fox and pony? I don't know. It's Fox and pony shit. I don't know. It's weird.
Something weird. They've been playing it, and I see that every now and again. And all I see is them just sucking a lot of dick.
It's
all
true.
I see that over there. It's really bad. So you can let me know. I will say I heard about Final Fantasy VII. Apparently, it's split up into like episodes, which is strange. I didn't. Is this true? Does anyone know about this? Do you know anything about this, Sheps?
Personally, I'm really not interested in the remake.
Really?
Yeah, to answer the question, I don't have a problem with remakes.
Okay.
I do have a problem with changes and cutting content. That's my big deal. So, like, for example, we've been playing Final Fantasy 9 on stream, and it's, in my opinion, it's the best Final Fantasy. If they were to remake it, I would say remake identical. I want the game to be exactly the same. I appreciate that probably because of current gen stuff, they'll get voice actors in. I want that as an option, and I'm turning it off. I want the speech bubbles.
I see. Yeah.
And I would also like a toggle so you can see the exact scene that you're playing, but in the old gen graphics, like with the Master Chief Edition for Halo. I like that feature where you can just toggle the graphics to like original to updated.
Original,
But I want it to be the exact game in today's graphics. The exact game. For all, I mean, look, if there's a horrendous glitch where 1 in 5 times you fall through the floor, fix that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I want it to be the same game, or don't remake it. There's no point.
See, there's two sides of this coin, and it all comes down to what I think is the the passion and the vision and the scope of the developer who's doing it, and whether or not they get the funding to do what they want to do. So apparently Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I haven't played it, I don't know, all I've heard is stuff on podcasts and what other people say in our Discords, people like Zahir, I know he's a fake gamer and everything, but sometimes he says some good stuff. Apparently Final Fantasy VII Remake is done so well, and apparently it's like telling the same story but in an interesting, refreshing, newish way and whatnot that actually makes the game very, very good for people who are new and also people who have seen the game before. I don't know if this is true, but apparently that's very, very good. And if you are the developer for this game and you are like, wow, we were limited by what we could do back then, but we have so much more we can do, and we could tell this story in such a great way, and those people that saw it before can get this new context and this new sort of vision for this game that we have, it could be something amazing, and they go out and do it, that's great. But then there's also the half-assed, shitty version where people still leave the same glitches in, like you're saying, if there's a glitch in the ground. Like Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, the campaign, the same glitch that allowed you to get the Platinum Trophy is available in the remastered version.
Yep.
And I saw that and I was like, well, I'm buying it because I need to get the Platinum Trophy, and that's a nice pleasy platinum right there, first of all. But how is the same glitch there? You guys literally just put the skins on it and didn't give a fuck about there was no love in this game.
Guaranteed.
Modern Warfare 2 is great. The campaign's great.
Guaranteed.
But there was no love. No love whatsoever.
They'll bring out the multiplayer.
Yeah.
The
care package glitch.
Care package glitch. The stinger? No, the Javelin glitch. That the rock.
One Man Army Noob Tube.
One Man Army Noob Tube. It will all still be in there. It's just, god damn it.
Fucking hell. And that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna put love into something, then I will. I don't care if you want to shoot your shot and make a slightly different version, a slightly different take on what you've done. If you're gonna put your passion into it, go ahead, give it your shot, and we'll see what happens.
If it's a tweak, if it like get rid of glitches and stuff, and if it's like, you know what, this thing was in there, but actually, like, I think if we did it this way, and it's like within 5% of the original scene, I think that's better, and it's from passion, like you say. Cool, yeah. A slight change, fine, but.
I would be a bit more forgiving for a bit more change. Not, as I said, I don't think I would go beyond 10%. I think that's as far as I would go.
Yeah.
If it has passion, because then at least you're going, here's a game and here's a story, and then we get to judge it based on that game and that story. But if you just shit out the same shit and you go, well, because we could do this new technology and this new thing, we shoved it in, and then it completely breaks the game because you didn't give a fuck about the game, then it's like, well, fuck you, just you destroyed the game and you don't give a shit. Who cares? And then the gamers would happily say, you suck.
For sure. I will say though that as much as some remasters, like, I get it, we need new ideas and new games, and I feel like they're doing that with games and movies, where they're like, oh, we don't have anything, let's just remake fucking Jurassic Park or whatever. In fairness, I do enjoy them, but they aren't as good. And as much as I'm a huge Chris Pratt fan, they're not as good. They're not as good as the original Jurassic Park. And I just like, it's cool to see stuff you love getting like updated. But I'm playing, like I said, I'm playing Final Fantasy IX. It's a 20-year-old game, and I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
So sometimes let's just bring out another good game, or a new installment, like Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. They're brand new. Do you want to know something? This is I saw your stream of Final Fantasy IX, and it is old graphics, isn't it? It's very old. It's very dated and whatnot. It's way worse than Minecraft.
Way worse than Minecraft.
I'll say the cutscenes still look pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that. I didn't get to see that much. I really got to see like the text bubble stuff, and I was like, "Ooh, this is not for me." I'm actually far less forgiving of old games and whatnot. Like when we went and played famously GoldenEye on the N64 and whatnot,
that was trash.
It was trash, and it actually hurt the image that I had in my head of it, and made me feel differently about that game. Like before, I was like, "Oh, GoldenEye, my God, those days, weren't they the days?" But now I'm like, "Oh man, I can't believe I was playing that kind of shit."
In defense of GoldenEye, we have spent the last, what's that like? When did GoldenEye come out?
Let's have a look.
GoldenEye N64. GoldenEye came out in 97, so we have spent the last 23 years, well, let's say 20 years, right, to the PS1 really, using an entirely different controller.
Yeah, fucking hell, like you can't give that to any young person now on a show, like, go on, here's the controller, tell me how you'd use it. They'd be like, the fuck, it's got three stems on it. Where'd you hold it from?
So that's the reason I'll defend GoldenEye in that sense. I bet if you got it on PC, like if you just had an emulator on your screen, you'd enjoy the shit out of it. If you were doing mouse and keyboard.
Maybe. There's also people that have like, not remastered it, but like updated it slightly to like PS2 level graphics, PS1 level graphics. So it's like, it's more visually pleasing, and it's not just a black stick you're holding in your hand. It's actually
the golden gun, in my mind, the golden gun was one of those like old Nazi guns, but it was completely gold and it was perfect. It's like so realistic. And and then it's just a yellow cube. It's so
Crayon.
bad. Yeah, it's so bad. I think if you played, I bet if you played Spider-Man 2, is it Spider-Man 2? You know, the PS2.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. I bet you'd still really enjoy it.
I don't know. Do you know what? I've got this thing where I'm like, I can play new games now that look fantastic, and when I play them, my eyes are just orgasming all the time. When I see an old game, I'm like, man, this old game is not that great.
Yeah,
maybe I'll never come out and say, this sucks, this is just shit and whatnot, because these games were great for their time, and they obviously pushed the medium forward in a certain way, and they did their thing, and I'll always respect them for that. But I just can't go back to them. If it wasn't for this this Nathan Drake remaster, I don't think I would have played any of them.
Are you telling me?
Really don't.
Are you telling me that if the stream really, really wants it, if the guys on Discord and stuff want you to play Pokemon Red?
Oh no! Don't call my baby out. No, don't do that.
Because, just saying, I found my old Game Boy Color. I put a couple new AA's in, fired that bad boy up because of course it still works. A fucking bad boy. What a gangster. And look,
shit.
Does it look like, Pokemon? What's the new one that came out? I haven't played.
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield. Does it look like that? No. Is it great? Yeah, it's still great, even though it's two colors.
Oh my god.
I'm telling you.
What is it about those times when we saw, because we obviously watched the TV show as well while we were playing those games.
Butterfree.
Why is it when we saw those Pokemon on that shitty like green and black display and whatnot, and we had like a booklight essentially attachment that connected to it and whatnot, why is it when we played those games our mind did all of the imagination and filling in the gaps in between, and we would just see ourselves as Ash Ketchum, and every time we got a Charmander we were like, protect its tail. We must protect the flame.
And especially for you, because you can't even read on like now.
Wow, you got to call me out right there, bro. You got to call me out. Call me like that, motherfucker.
But I'm telling you, if you can find your Game Boy and fire it up, or just download like an emulator, I bet it's not the same. It's not the same as playing Sword and Shield on a Switch. Completely admit it. And there's something special about seeing Pokemon like that. But I bet you don't hate it. I bet it doesn't do the thing that GoldenEye did.
Mate, I could...
I'd bet money on it. Let's do one that isn't so special to you. Like, for example, Spider-Man 2. Like, we've seen so many good Spider-Man games since that Spider-Man 2, while it's like a bit nostalgic, it's not super special, right? Because we know a Spider-Man game's going to be good. If you were to fire that up and be like, the graphics aren't too good, but yeah, it's a good game, I bet that would soften the going back to old games thing.
Yeah, you know what?
I think Pokemon Red would surprise you. Seriously, I think it would surprise you.
Might download an emulator tonight,
Yeah.
I've got my scheduled Days Gone gaming session and whatnot. I might switch that up for a Pokemon schedule.
You might have to. It's not super long, and especially because we know the tricks, right? Like, you know that whatever, like if you're fighting that Miltank, you need a fighting type Pokemon. Like, you know some of the tactics for the later games.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do a Nuzlocke. Oh shit, boys. In the Discord, you need to get Ed to do a Nuzlocke.
Tell the guys what a Nuzlocke is, because that is the most fascinating thing to come out of Pokemon right here.
I can't remember when this was, but this dude whose like username was Nuzlocke, he came up with a way to make Pokemon more, because there isn't a difficulty setting, right? He came up with a way to basically do Pokemon on crushing mode. Yeah. And he came up with all these rules. And if you do this thing, it's known as a Nuzlocke. And what it is if your Pokemon faints, you treat it as dead. These are battles to the death. So the second you come to a PC, you release that Pokemon, including your starter, right? And
so terrible.
Yeah. And he put in all these rules like you can only catch, I mean, these are pretty hardcore, but like you can only catch the first Pokemon you come into contact with in a new region.
That's
so hardcore.
You're like avoiding. You're like, oh god, do I go in now?
That's hardcore.
I find up with a Pidgey?
If you find a Pidgey and the next one's like a Hitmonlee, you have the freaking Pidgey and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, and that's super hard mode in a sense. And look, I think we could discuss what rules you go for. I think, say, you get the choice of any of the first 3 Pokemon as an example is probably a bit more fun. Gives you a bit more choice. The thing, like, treating the Pokemon as if they die that's really the killer, because then it means something. Then if you beat something, if you beat the Elite Four with one Pokemon left, like you have to kind of have like a mini funeral for the team that didn't make it, and then the one guy that's like in your head, it's like battle scarred, it's got the scar over the eye like a badass, it's your John Wick Pokemon.
It's like Thanos at the end of Infinity Wars. Like, what did it cost? Everything.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm telling you, if you're a big Pokemon fan and you just need it to be more difficult, you can do these self-imposed rules. And I'm telling you, because I did a Nuzlocke, and it's like weirdly emotional when that one Pokemon that's always come through for you loses.
It would be quite interesting if they could work that into like the official games and make it They would never do it because it's Nintendo and they're more about everybody being satisfied rather than that. But like a setting where like activate Nuzlocke and there's like certain cutscenes and whatnot where it's like it'd be quite grim, but it shows like as if your Pidgey has fainted and cannot be revived, and it's like you have to just bury it in the garden behind the Pokestop and whatnot.
The problem with it is, as we've said before, Pokemon battling in the real world exists, but it's called dogfighting.
Oh shit!
And cockfighting and stuff, and people aren't super into that. So, I'm actually, I agree. I'm not super into that either. I know it's a shocking take,
opinion.
but I'm going to come out and say I'm against it. So obviously I don't see that happening. So you have to do the rules yourself. But I'm telling you, if you're a huge Pokemon fan, but you're finding that is like kind of holding you back a bit, that stuff. It really changes the game. It sounds so dumb, but it really does. And also you do things where like you can't just spend all your money on potions,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, boys, if I reckon Ed would do it on stream, I think you should get him because you've got a Switch, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, set that shit up and do a Nuzlocke Sword and Shield or something maybe.
That would be interesting.
Have you played Sword and Shield?
Yeah, I've played it. I haven't beaten it all the way yet. I got distracted again by other games and other stuff like that.
How are you finding it?
Yeah, it's good. I do like. A lot of people don't like the new look of it because it's different to what it was in the days. But I'm okay with the new look. The thing that I don't like is the characters are so weird. They've how Pokemon is pretty. Not very anime, not like anime, right?
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
It's more anime than I'm used to. And then this is like anime but turned up to 14, and I'm like, the fuck? These guys are weird. Yeah, they're very, very strange right here.
But another alternative, it doesn't have to be on a Switch. Like if hypothetically, because I don't know if anybody's actually interested in this, but if people wanted to see you play Pokemon, you could do it on an emulator. You could get Red or, I don't know, Gold or Heart Black or whatever it is. Heart Silver. Is it Heart Silver?
Soul Silver, I think it is.
Soul Silver, that's it. Yeah. Like, and that's it. Soul Silver and Heart Gold, that's it. Or, like you could do one of these on an emulator, like on your screen, and still, it'd still be us streaming,
Yeah, that would be cool.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Let us know.
I see what you mean about them looking anime.
Don't worry, the look of them I can even get by, but it's how they talk. It's how they talk. If you ever look up a video of them, they're just they say the weirdest things, and they're all just like, normal people don't talk like this. I know it's Pokemon, but people don't talk like this, even in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Very strange. I'm like, oh, God. All right, and that's all the questions that we have. Thank you, bros, for sending in those questions. That actually sparked some serious good conversation. That was fun. Really like those ones. Thank you, everybody, for sending those questions. Send them in next time as well to the in the Discord server under the podcast channel. You can check the link in the description for that. If you like what we do here and you feel like you can support us even in these terrible times, head over to our Patreon as well. Also a link in the description. It supports us. It supports this podcast and stuff like that. And wherever you are, whether you're on YouTube or podcast services, rate us, like the stream,
liking
subscribe,
the videos,
tell your grandma.
Yeah, liking the videos, commenting, subscribing to the YouTube channel, all that stuff is another way. Yeah, OnlyFans, of course. It directly supports the channel. So we understand, like especially these times, like not everybody can afford a dollar a month. Like for real, we get it. But like leaving a like and a comment, like that directly supports us, and we appreciate it. And the Discord, such a great place to hang out, for real. Like,
Such a great place.
I know it sounds like we're pimping our own stuff, but we don't make anything from the Discord. It's just a great place to hang out.
Yeah,
you should
it's
check
just a great
out
place
for
for
real.
bros.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it does have people like Ozzy there, and it does have Diogo there. God, those guys.
But other than those guys,
occasionally you do get Fishy there, which
yeah, he came by yesterday, and he just said, like, he literally came by and said pantaloons, and then left.
Yeah, I would love to know what goes on in Fishy's mind. Like, we love him to bits,
I feel like you
special.
need to be tripping on acid to like really know. I love that guy so much.
The guy's so cool. We love him. Hey, Fisher, you're listening to this because you're a true.
Of course he is. Yeah,
he's a true.
He's a true gamer.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, bro. I think we should wrap things up. How does that sound about for you?
That's great.
Yeah, all right. Thanks everybody for joining us. We will see you next week for the on Wednesday there's going to be the Anime Club for Spirited Away, and on the weekend there is going to be the Conbrosations podcast. Yeah, feel free to send in your questions for that.
That's right.
And I'll see you, bro, next time.
I'll see you next time.
Handshake, virtual handshake.
Virtual handshake.
Corona.
Have a good one, boys. Thanks for listening. We love you.